Hey, so I'm going to talk about sports injuries today because I was in yoga class and someone probably jarred her foot quite badly and left the class limping. And I was like, oh, if only she knew that she could take some arnica to help with that initial injury. So I'm a homeopath. I've been practicing for 25 years, and one of our number one first aid remedies, and you might know it, is arnica. So arnica is as a homeopathic remedy, it's a herbal remedy as well, but as a homeopathic remedy tends to be made up in little pilules. And, you know, a little vial of these in your handbag, in your pocket for any accident or injury, you know, carry a little vial of them in your car. It's like your number one first aid remedy for shock, trauma, injury. So that could be emotional shock as well as physical injury. So just take an arnica, maybe repeat it as often as every 10 minutes if you're in acute pain, or every hour if you're in some pain. And sometimes, you know, if you take the arnica quick enough, the pain doesn't even happen. So the trauma doesn't even seem to take hold. So I once dropped a big motorbike lock on my foot, on my toe, and immediately took a very high dose of arnica, and absolutely no pain, no bruising, no trauma was felt afterwards. So sometimes if we get there fast enough with a homeopathic remedy, a lot of great healing can go on. So that's our number one homeopathic remedy. I'm going to talk about a few supplements as well for joint injury. So chances were that she did a sprain in her foot of some sort. So the homeopathic remedy to really kind of like deal with the strain once we've dealt with the initial shock and trauma is Ruta. And Ruta would be something that you might take, say, 3 times a day for a week to heal an injury like that. Because you want to get back to work, you want to be mobile again, don't you? Because it's load bearing, every time she walks again, every time she exerts that little bit further, it hurts again, then I would go back to taking another arnica. So when we go back to the injury state, just go back to the arnica. Keep taking the Ruta 3 times a day to heal. But if you just re-trauma, go back to the arnica. If there is damage to bigger muscle groups, then I would be looking at this remedy, Rustox. Now, Rustox is really for the muscle, the connective tissue on the back and the thighs. And in fact, in utero, when those areas of the body are being formed, it's actually the same type of tissue which runs along the back and rotates around to form the legs, and it actually rotates around to form the front of the legs. The legs form almost backwards initially, and then they rotate around in utero and create these wonderful muscles that we have in our thighs and the femurs, and these knees that we have that are very different to the other primates. Our knees and our glutes, these muscles that develop, you know, as I say, early in utero, are all about being able to run away from our predators. Now, most of our predators in the savannah run much faster than us, but they can only run for a really short period of time. So we need to be able to run for a longer period of time to outrun them. That's how we got where we are today. We outran our predators, and we also outmaneuvered them in terms of you know, eventually creating hunting tools, etc. We came down out of the trees and we ran because of our strong knees and our big glutes compared to, go and look at a primate and you'll see that they just don't have bums like we have. They don't have knees like we have. So these, you know, the quadriceps muscles on the thighs and the big muscles of the back help us carry things, help us load bear in order to, you know, build a hut on the land to live in if we can't live in the tree anymore because we've decided to come out of the tree. You know, it's all like very primal when it comes down to it. But if those parts of the body are injured, you want this remedy, Rustox. So how could we support the system in terms of nutrients? Because we all know, or we should know, that since, you know, the 1920s, the 1930s, our food is very denatured. And so we might need extra things to help us heal. And in fact, if we go back, you know, people have been using, you know, herbs, superfoods for a very long time. And even Otzi, the Iceman, you know, was found with various herbs in his possession that he was using. And it seems that I believe he might have had a tooth problem, and there are certain herbs that he was carrying that he was potentially using to ease his tooth pain, something like that. I forget the detail, but basically it's very natural for us to reach for a plant, a superfood, to help heal. The problem with most of our supplements, and you'll always hear me say this, is that we now put a lot of fillers and binders in them. And that's to do with the processing, it's to do with making the product faster so that it can be sold for less. So really what you want is a company like this one, Aquasource. This is why I go to this company for products, because they're great quality and they're not full of fillers and binders. And they believe in filling the capsule slowly with good nutrients, rather than filling it fast with some good nutrients and a lot of filler to fill the capsule fast. Does that make sense? So this product is called Flexibility, and it's got things like your glucosamines in, your collagen, olive leaf extract. It's got a hyaluronic acid. It's got lots of great things which help repair connective tissue. So connective tissue makes up the vast majority of us. We've got our bones, and they are operated and held together by all this connective tissue. So we need to learn how to look after it, but also how to repair it in injury. So, you know, the girl in my yoga class could have taken some homeopathics. She could also be taking some turmeric. So this is actual turmeric, and we can get a turmeric complex, a turmeric supplement of some sort. We can make a paste from this. That's a very Indian tradition. We could pop it into a smoothie. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. So chances are at that initial point of injury, there's inflammation. So adding in turmeric to the diet or taking it as a supplement could be really good. Then we've got our targeted joint healing superfoods, herbs, some of which have anti-inflammatory properties, some of which have repairing properties. So essential fatty acids also are anti-inflammatory. So in terms of looking after joints generally and repairing joints, we want to ramp up essential fatty acids. And these can be found in the food chain from things like grass-fed butter, cold-pressed seed oils, avocados, you know, and obviously all our meat and fatty, oily fish. You know, the difference between oily and fatty fish. You know, some fish are actually fatty, really great for repairing and looking after muscles, tendons, and ligaments, the connective tissue, for enhancing collagen production, for enhancing protein metabolism. We're made out of protein, basically. So we could use coconut oil. Don't go too hard and fast on only coconut oil. This company I love, Clear Spring. If you're in the UK, sign up to their website, and quite often they have 20% discount store-wide. They do fantastic products from Japan and Scotland, and I'm not being promoted to say that. I just think they're a wonderful company, and you know, I save up and order on their 20% discounts. This is another supplement from a different company that I like. It's called Joint Flex, and this one has, I find, more anti-inflammatory properties than this Flexibility. So with Flexibility, I might also be taking turmeric complex from this company, or I might be taking this one, Joint Flex, to repair joints. Now I've seen, you know, a friend really pulled a tendon in his arm, you know, really tore the tendon in his arm. 6 weeks on this, fantastic repair. And this is a friend who's really quite compromised when it comes to his health. So, you know, I was really surprised by that. And if you're going for cold pressed seed oils, this is olive oil. This is one from a company called Riverford, which is a delivery. I've just decanted it into this Casolari bottle because I like the bottle. But the Riverford are a box scheme company. So they deliver fruit and veg to your door. If you want a discount code for them, just hit me up. I think you get £15 off your first order. That's UK, obviously. And, you know, going for a box scheme, a delivery company, when it comes to your organic fruit and veg, you will always get better quality than you do in the supermarket. So organic supermarket fruit and veg is great. If you want to really ramp it up and, you know, really improve your health, then go for a box scheme. There are other companies, Abel and Cole, farm around in the UK. I've been shopping from Riverford for years. So these are organic ginger. Ginger is warming. So ginger could be helpful as part of repair in some ways, but it's warming. I just bought this because it's in the same package as my turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory. So one last thing you can do for joint and tendon injuries, particularly the bigger joints, you know, when it comes to knees or ankles, for instance, maybe even massaging into your hands, is castor oil. So you can get an organic castor oil and create a castor oil pack, which is a bit old school, but is really great for pain relief and for healing. So if you want to know how to use a castor oil pack, I'll pop that down in the description below, so you'll see that below. And also if you want a discount off, this is a UK company, if you want a 15% discount on supplements from them, just give me a shout. If you're interested in these particular supplements, again, drop a line below. So you've got some great resources: homeopathy, superfoods, and good foods. You know, literally with a good cold pressed seed oil like this, you are oiling your joints. Yeah. So what you want to avoid when it comes to oil, and there is a lot of conversation about this, is you want to avoid things like canola, corn oil, most sunflower oil, rapeseed oil. Most rapeseed oil anyway, is really poorly produced, you know, and if you've got a kind of refined plant oil or something like that, it's really not very good for you. You're going to be having too much of a certain type of essential fatty acid in it. So what you want is always balance, you know, but you can't go wrong with a nice sloop of this all over your salad. Yeah, great stuff. So that is it for looking after your joints. Some great tips. And yeah, when I next see my yoga class colleague, will I say to her, hey, you could be using this, you know? So I'm sure you're watching because you're interested. So yeah, keep listening. Thank you.